guys, the entertainment industry as a whole is just absolute insanity now. It used to be that you would have a 20th Century Fox and a Disney and a Universal, a Paramount, a Warner Brothers, and they would all be creating amazing films for us to go see in theaters together and enjoy together. Nowadays, it's kind of just like three giant pillars that own everything. And the trend is going to continue. I mean, there were a lot of rumors, or there was a lot of reports last night that Netflix was in final talks to acquire WB. And as of today, it was made official. Netflix put out a press release that stated that they are to acquire Warner Bros. Following the separation of Discovery Global for a total enterprise value of $82.7 billion. And so I believe in the actual press release, it does mention that in Q3 of 2026, it all goes through, barring that there aren't any issues along the way. I do believe they still have a couple of stops to try and make sure everything can go through smoothly. And if there aren't any issues, well, then this time next year, Netflix will have officially acquired and will own all of WB's assets. And you're probably wondering, why am I even making this video? I don't necessarily talk about like film in general on this channel, but there is a WB Games that is a part of Warner Bros. That is indeed a part of this acquisition. Although there isn't anything that officially states that in the actual press release, there was a reporter or journalist who did mention over on Twitter. Derek Strickland said, just got confirmation from a Warner Bros. Rep that the Netflix deal does include WB Games. Netflix will become the new owner of WB Games if the deal goes through. Derek here, though, then followed up with a reply to say, just a quick clarification, Netflix will own Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Includes WB Games. Netflix wouldn't technically be operating WB Games directly. A level of organizational structure will remain. Think of it like Xbox buying ZeniMax, which is the parent/operator of BGS. So maybe not much is gonna change, hopefully. I mean, I'm trying to think glass half full. I'm trying to be optimistic about a couple of things, but there's so much here, I must admit, I am worried about. As a fan of entertainment, a fan of film, as a general consumer who loves the movie-going experience, it really does feel like that part of film is going away. Like, do you guys remember, and it's crazy to say that this was like 4 years ago now, but do you remember being in a packed theater full of people going to see Spider-Man No Way Home? Hell, Disney just announced that they're going to re-release Avengers Endgame in theaters next year ahead of the release of Avengers Doomsday. You remember being in a theater for that movie? How often are we having those kinds of experiences these days? I know I sound like I'm Ugg status, I understand, but I really do love that part about going to the movies. And with Netflix acquiring WB and Netflix saying like they don't really value that movie theater experience and they'd much rather have people watching the movies from the comfort of their home, again, we're losing that part of film. On the game side of things, which obviously is a bit more relevant to what I do here and what I talk about here on this channel, there are still some things I'm quite worried about. If I were to try and sound optimistic, I mean, maybe they're going to just let WB Games do what WB Games is continuing to do. Yes, Suicide Squad, it lost a lot of money, okay? We cannot avoid that fact. However, another unavoidable fact is that Hogwarts Legacy made a ton of money. So there is value in the IP that WB owns, and there is value in creating AAA titles based on those IPs. And obviously, leading up to this sale, there was a restructuring at WB Games, and they now had some key figures running several franchises. It sounded like they were starting to get a little bit of structure and organization at WB Games for their upcoming games. There's a lot of rumors out there, of course, that Rocksteady might be going back to Batman. Everybody is speculating that maybe NetherRealm's next game is going to be Injustice 3. We just want more DC games, please. So the hope would be that it's just business as usual for these studios and they just get to continue to make the games that they want to make. However, I do know that there are a couple of things to be a little glass half empty, to be a little pessimistic about regarding the game side of this acquisition. I gotta give credit to Dell over on Twitter for what he said regarding what this could mean for the game side of things of this acquisition. After Netflix execs dismantled their AAA game studio in 2024 because they believe those types of games are too risky, I am big time worried about WB Montreal, NetherRealm, Avalanche, and Rocksteady. And I mean, yeah, that's a really good point to make. They dismantled an entire AAA game studio that they were building because they felt that the AAA game model was too risky. So if Rocksteady's working on another AAA Batman game and Netflix were to look at the numbers and say, oh, these are the guys that just made that Suicide Squad game that lost us $200 million, forget that. Or if they were to look at any slew of AAA action adventure or open world type games that could be in development at WB Montreal or Avalanche or wherever it may be, they might think, you know what, this is just too risky. We're not going to do any of that. And that could mean that some of the games that we might have wanted, whether it's a Hogwarts Legacy 2, whether it's a new Batman Arkham, or who knows, from NetherRealm Studios, could just get canceled entirely. And instead, they're just going to make these smaller budget games that maybe they want to throw onto that Netflix games library that they have. Listen, I hate being this pessimistic about anything on this channel. You know me. All right, people give me crap all the time because I'm a shill or I like everything or whatever it might be. I am generally just a happier guy, okay? I do like most things. That's not to say that, like, I'm lying. It's just, you know, it's harder for me to be very negative on this channel, but this whole acquisition, everything surrounding it, what it could mean for WB Games going forward, what it could mean for some upcoming games that might be currently in development, it has me very worried. Then as a film fan, as somebody, I went to film school, like I live and breathe this stuff, it has me even more worried. Who knows what could happen to physical media? Who knows what's gonna happen to that movie theater experience like I was talking about? And if Netflix were to own WB's library and they were to have such massive IPs like the ones that WB owns, well, what example could that set for the entirety of the industry? Because if Netflix were to release the next Superman or Batman or Green Lantern movie or whatever it might be and just put it on Netflix and it increases a ton of subscribers, which it will obviously because people want to see those movies, it might just send a shockwave in the industry to say to Disney or to whoever else, like, hey, you guys don't really need to put your movies in theaters. And I don't know, that would have me worried. Again, Netflix has stated that they still do want to release some of these films theatrically. They do want to continue to manage WB in the same business model that it's currently being managed in. So all we can really do is hope that they're sticking to that word and that they aren't providing any false promises here. All we can do really is hope that what that means is exactly what it means, that they're just going to have these movies come out in theaters the same way they've already been. Not saying like, well, we said it was coming out in theaters. We didn't say how long it was gonna be in theaters. So yeah, go watch it. You got 2 weeks. I'm a little worried, guys. I'm a little worried. This is all like crazy times that we're living in for the entertainment industry as a whole. I really do hope that for the games, they get to just continue to do what they're doing. But also at the same time, like maybe this acquisition could be good in the fact that Netflix will look at this library, they'll look at these IPs and say, why aren't we making a Green Lantern game? Why aren't we making a Flash game? Not like a Flash game, but like the Flash game. You know what I mean. But all right, I guess now I'm gonna kick it to you guys. Sound off your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think about this news? What do you think about this information? Do you think that this could be bad? Do you think it could be good? Is your glass half full or is it half empty? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section below. I want to hear everything you guys have to say. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.